everyone, welcome to this week's DIY. It is me, Madison, and I'm here with another lovely DIY for this week. We have all the pinks inside of our DIY this week, so that means it's gonna give her a little springy vibe. That's what we're gonna rock with, and it's gonna be really nice. But we have a touch of yellow, so I hope you guys are excited, and let's get started. So for that touch of yellow, we're coming through with some mini sunflowers. We have these cute little dainty sunflowers that have that classic brown center. We're gonna add the sunshine to your bouquet today. We have this beautiful wax flower, which is like a really dainty little flower. They come in these clusters of tiny little blooms, and they're just cutie pies. Like, I absolutely love them. We have the classic Alstromera, which is gonna add some fullness and color to our DIY, and then it comes with all these greens on them, so I'm gonna help you take those off. We have these pink lilies. We have them LA pink lilies. These are, fun facts, Asiatic lilies. So there's two, there's ornamental and then there's Asiatic. Ornamental lilies usually are bigger and don't come in a lot of colors, and they have a really strong lily scent. They're those huge, beautiful ones that you see. Personally, I love those because I'm not really impartial to the smell of lilies. But if you don't like the smell of the lilies, I highly recommend Asiatic lilies. The scent is toned down a lot, and then also they come in beautiful colors like orange, pink, red, and all the other fun ones. So you should have two of those. And then last but not least, we have the snapdragon. We have these beautiful pink snapdragons. I love snapdragons because even though they come in like a color pink, they still have these undertones to them. So with orange snapdragons, they have a pink undertone and even a purplish, yellowish undertone as well. These have a beautiful little yellow on them. They have these beautiful little yellow spots on them that really add a pop of color, and I think I'm gonna really pop out with our sunflowers. So we should have some of those. And then last but not least, we have our greenery. So our greenery today is gonna be myrtle. This is a shrubby bush that grows. It's absolutely amazing. I believe it grows here in America, specifically the Pacific Northwest. If I'm wrong, I'm very sorry. But I love it because it grows in all these little tendrils and all these spots, and we can really split this up and get a really full vase going on. All right, let's get started. So first we're actually gonna start with our myrtle. Whenever I hear the word myrtle, I think of, unfortunately, I do think of Harry Potter, and I think of the character Moaning Myrtle, the one who just complained a lot and was sad, and she was killed, I believe. That's what I think of. But this is not Moaning Myrtle, this is just myrtle. This is a plant. So what I'm doing is splitting it up, and I'm slowly spreading it around my bowl. I'm going in crisscross like action, so to make sure I'm building a really good base and a really good like mechanical base is what I say. That's going to ensure that when we are building our vase and we're sticking in things, that things aren't moving around too much. So I'm going to put the greens a little lower, and I'm really going to make sure that they're overlapping with each other, just to make sure that everything's strong and stays put. I'm cleaning off all my leaves off of the bowl because we don't want any of those little leaves inside of the water. And I'm really splitting things up so I can get the fullness I crave. All right, beautiful. We got a beautiful vase going on now. Next, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna move a little backwards, and I'm gonna put in my Alstro. Only because myrtle, even though it's a good green, it's really pretty, the stems are a little thin, so our mechanics might be a little too wobbly to start sticking heavy little sunflowers in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place my Alstromera now, and then my linears, so then by the time I get to my focals, those things stay put. Because if you know, sunflowers are really wobbly. They like to do their own thing. So we're gonna try to stop that from happening by building a good base. So for my first two Alstromera, I'm gonna take off these leaves just so they're not super distracting. I don't want to take them all off because they do add a good fullness to the bouquet, so remember that. And then I'm gonna stick one back pretty low, and then I'm gonna stick one in the front also pretty low. not too low. And when you're taking your leaves off of your astro, make sure you're pinching them off, especially the ones if you want to take them off. The ones that are like attached to the actual bloom, you will take the bloom with you. I actually just did that 3 seconds ago when I tried to tear off the leaf. So make sure you pinch them off if you want to take them off. Don't just rip them. Or if you want to be, really conscious of it, what you can do is cut them off with your handy knives. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is for this last astro, I'm going to keep it just a smidgen taller, just so we can get some height and fullness up top as well. Beautiful. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my linears. So your linears are those flowers that kind of build up the parameters and the framework of your bouquet and help build outreach of your bouquet. They also build the shape and gestures. So when I say gesture, I mean things like this, how these snapdragons have like a way that they move where the blooms are facing. You want to follow those gestures in terms of shaping up your bouquet. So this one is very pretty. I really like the shape of this one. So I'm going to keep it just a little taller. And I'm going to have it, actually I'm going to put this one a little lower. Put it a little lower. And then I'm going to have it fill in that space right here. I'm going to make sure when I'm doing that, I'm going through my stems, so I'm building a very strong base. All right. I'm going to keep this one slightly higher, but still facing the other way, just so I can build depth in my bouquet. I don't want everything facing one single way. That would be super lame. I only want to build depth and dimension inside of our bouquet. So I have one of my snapdragons facing that way, one of my snapdragons facing forward, and now I'm going to have another one facing a little bit more towards the back. Just so we make sure that we're building a good shape, okay? A well shaped. All right, so make sure you're checking your bases as you're building to make sure that you're messing with what you're doing. When you're building, you're looking at it from the top view, so it was important that you're trying to see it from all views, all perspectives. Beautiful, beautiful. Next, I'm going to go in with a sunflower. Now remember, sunflowers like to have a mind of their own. So I really try to play with their shapes. I'm going to put this one right here in the front to fill in this bottom area. Beautiful. I'm going to go in with another sunflower. I'm going to keep this one just a smidge taller so I can fill in this middle space. And again, I'm going through my mechanics and making sure that I'm putting them in spots where they'll hold up nicely. These sunflowers have some really cute gestures to them, so I'm going to try to highlight them and not put them too low just so we can see their beautifully wiggly necks. I'm going to go in with this other lily. I'm stripping off all of those leaves. I love the smell of lilies. People really don't like it sometimes, but I love it. It's a very floral scent. To me, it smells like a flower shop. Like when I think of how flower shops should smell, I think of lilies. I do. All right, so this one I'm gonna keep a little taller. And again, I'm playing with my mechanics, going through them, making sure each stem goes through that middle part so they're not moving too much. Also playing with my stems as I go, moving some things around, just making sure I'm enjoying how things are turning out. Right, and then we have one more sunflower. Let me see which one I want to use. I'm going to use this one. Just blowing the leaves out a little bit. Not the leaves, excuse me, the petals. Cut this one not too low, but just a little. Just a wee bit smaller. And in fact, I'm actually going to make it a little smaller. Just so I can fill in this gap right here. Alright, and then we're going to make a few adjustments before we put in our final stems. So for example, I think I'm going to put this beautiful lily on an angle so it comes out a little more, so at the bottom of my vase doesn't look so empty. Here we go. And then I have some beautiful gestures going on too. So I got this little sunflower down here, this one, and then I have one that's wiggling up but facing outward. I just want to show the gesture of the sunflower more than the bloom, so then my arrangement has a bit more shape to it, which I really like having. All right, and then last but not least, we're going to go in with our wax flower. So our wax flower is going to fill in those empty spaces, aka why it is a great filler. All right, so I'm going to put a sprig of it right here in the middle, maybe a little lower than that. And also a fuller piece, because I want that middle to really be filled in. So I'm going to cut it a little much shorter and then put it a little lower. I'm going to take this cute little piece too, and I'm going to have it out right here. And then I'll put a little bit towards the back, just so we're filling in the back and also building dimension. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we are going to play with our stems, see if we like what's going on, pull out some stuff, fluff some things out and in. All right. And here we have, let me push that in a little bit. This week's DIY, we have these beautiful mini sunflowers that are adding such a beautiful pop of yellow. We have these pink snapdragons that, if you look really closely, they have a little touch of yellow, which is really brought out with these sunflowers. We have this overlying pink feeling from our lilies, our snapdragons, our alstroemera, and our wax flower, and it goes absolutely beautiful with our stone vase that you can get on the Flower Dreams website. This is a wonderful DIY, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Now, if you guys would like, you know I love to see what you guys make every week, so make sure you're sending pictures to Flowers for Dreams Detroit or at Flowers for Dreams on Instagram. As always, it's been a pleasure, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!